No one knew that the last time three little girls climbed into their father's truck would be the last time they were ever seen alive. Early June, a quiet, cold morning in Chelan County, Washington. Police discover an abandoned pickup truck near Rock Island Campground, a remote forested area miles from the nearest town. Dense, silent, isolated, and on the driver's side door, two bloody handprints clear human red. Like someone had tried to hold on, or tried to walk away. Inside the truck, nothing looked violent. There was a baby blanket, some half-eaten snacks, three empty child car seats, and right in the center console, the father's wallet. Still there, like he left it behind on purpose, just a few steps from the truck. In the dirt under dead leaves and cold soil, three small bodies lined up, still side by side: Paityn, age 9, Evelyn, age 8, Olivia, just 5. Police didn't need long to name a suspect. In fact, they only had one name: Travis Decker, 32 years old, the girl's biological father, ex-military, highly trained in survival, and now gone, completely vanished. He had already been issued a nationwide arrest warrant. Wanted for 3 counts of first-degree murder. Law enforcement didn't sugarcoat it. They called it one of the most brutal and heartbreaking crimes in Washington's history. Not just because of the victims' ages, but because the man responsible was supposed to be their protector, their father. What hit the hardest wasn't just the brutality, it was the silence, the disappearance. The fact that Travis Decker didn't just kill his daughters. He evaporated, no note, no signal, no body, just gone. This wasn't just a murder, it was a message, a declaration, a crime that left no answers, only pain, only questions. And a wound that to this day has never fully healed. Not for the family, not for the town, not for the country. Paityn was 9, the oldest, kind, quiet, always smiling. She loved drawing, crayons were her favorite. Every night she'd show off her newest sketch to her mom and her 2 little sisters like it was a masterpiece. Evelyn was 8. Full of energy, a tiny dancer. Her pink ballet shoes were always tucked neatly by the dresser, next to her Elsa princess dress that she insisted on wearing to every special event. Olivia was 5, the baby, shy, gentle. She couldn't sleep without hugging her stuffed animal. She used to say, "When I grow up, I want to be a vet so I can help sick kitties feel better." 3 little girls, each so different, each deeply loved. They lived with their mom, Whitney Decker, in Wenatchee, Washington. A small town, a quiet life. They didn't have much. But they had each other: simple dinners, dance recitals, school art shows, Friday movie nights with popcorn in paper bowls. It was warm, it was real, it was home. After the divorce, Whitney got primary custody, but by law, the father, Travis Decker, still had visitation rights. The court allowed him to take the girls every second weekend of the month. Whitney didn't like it. In fact, she hated it. Travis had no job, no house. Sometimes he lived in cheap motels. Other times he was off camping in the woods, sleeping in his car. He had served in the military, sure. But after leaving the service, he'd started to unravel. Whitney worried a lot, but she couldn't stop him. The law was clear, he was still their father. And so she tried to believe. Tried to trust that somewhere deep inside, Travis still had some good left in him, for the kids, for the girls. On May 30th, Travis pulled up to Whitney's home. He was on time, something that almost never happened. Whitney hugged each daughter tight. She snapped a few quick photos. One last picture before they left. Then she stood at the curb, watching her 3 girls climb into that old, beat-up pickup truck. She smiled through the worry. Just 2 days, she told herself. Everything will be okay. It was just a normal morning, just a regular Saturday, but no one, not even Whitney, knew that it would be the last time she ever saw them alive. May 30th, the sky was clear. Sunlight crept across the driveway. Travis Decker pulled up to Whitney's house, right on time. Which was rare. He wore a light-colored t-shirt, dark shorts, and his black hair tied back in a ponytail. He looked thin, tired, but calm. Nothing seemed off. Whitney walked her daughters to the truck. She kissed each one goodbye, then watched as they climbed into the backseat, giggling, backpacks bouncing. She stood on the curb and whispered to herself, "It's just 2 days. Everything will be fine." She didn't know that closing the door that morning's was closing the chapter on their lives. That night there were no texts, no calls, nothing. Whitney sent a quick message, "Are the girls okay?" No reply. May 31st, still silence. She called Travis, straight to voicemail, and that's when the chill hit her spine. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. June 1st, early morning. Whitney walked into the Wenatchee Police Department. She told them, "My daughters are missing." Within hours, the police issued an Amber Alert across the entire state of Washington. Later that same day, detectives caught a break. Travis's credit card had just been used. A small gas station near Leavenworth. He bought gas, crackers, bottled water. Surveillance footage showed him at the register. Alone, no girls in sight. That moment changed everything. This wasn't a missed drop-off, it wasn't a custody dispute, this was now a kidnapping. June 2nd, police located Travis's truck. Abandoned near Rock Island Campground. No tire marks, no footprints, just forest, thick, silent forest. As officers approached the truck, they noticed something on the door, two handprints, two bloody handprints. Inside the vehicle, a children's blanket, half-eaten snacks. 3 child safety seats, and on the console, Travis's wallet. Everything felt frozen in time, like someone had walked away on purpose. And at that point, every officer on scene knew. What they were about to find would not be someone alive. Just a short distance from the truck, lying under a thin layer of dirt and dead leaves. They found them 3 small bodies, side by side, hands still holding each other. Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia, all gone. The preliminary autopsy results confirmed it. They died from asphyxiation, strangled or smothered. There were no stab wounds, no blunt force trauma, just silence. But for the officers on scene, nothing was more brutal than the truth itself. A father had murdered all 3 of his daughters and left their bodies in the woods like they were nothing. And Travis, he wasn't at the scene. No footprints, no note, no phone, no body. He vanished like he'd been swallowed by the forest. When the news broke, 3 children found dead in the woods. The entire state of Washington went into shock. Within hours, the case was escalated to a federal homicide investigation. Travis Decker's name was placed at the top of the national most wanted list. A former soldier, deployed overseas. Highly trained in survival, evasion, and escape. This wasn't just any suspect. This was a man who knew how to disappear. Detectives returned to Travis's abandoned truck, but the blood on the door wasn't the only clue. Inside the center console, they found his wallet, all his IDs, bank cards still there, but his phone gone, so they pulled his phone records. And what they found changed everything. Travis had visited Rock Island Campground the day before he picked up his daughters. He scouted it, he planned it, he chose that place to kill them. This wasn't rage, this wasn't panic, this was cold, calculated murder. Then came the next clue, found inside a cheap motel room just outside Leavenworth. A housekeeper had discovered a notebook left behind after Travis checked out. In it, page after page of messy handwriting. The same lines repeated over and over, they're mine. I won't let her use them against me. It's better they come with me forever. The handwriting was confirmed as Travis's. This wasn't just a murder, this was possession. To Travis, death wasn't the end, it was control. He didn't just kill his daughters, he tried to own them in death. Investigators later pulled highway camera footage from May 30th, the day Travis picked up the girls. The footage showed his truck at a roadside stop. Paityn standing behind the truck with her pink backpack. Evelyn holding a bottle of water. Olivia sitting quietly on the curb. That was the last time anyone ever saw them alive. With overwhelming evidence in hand. The blood, the notebook, the GPS trail, the prior custody disputes. Prosecutors filed formal charges, 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of kidnappings, 1 count of custodial interference. But there was a problem. They still couldn't find Travis. He was gone, no body, no exit route, no sightings after June 2nd, nothing, and that silence. That eerie absence became the case's biggest twist. Some detectives believed he had taken his own life, that his body was somewhere out there buried by time and wilderness. But others, they weren't so sure. They believed Travis was alive, that he had. Whitney Decker once loved Travis. They were young when they got married. They had dreams, a home, a family. But a few years after their first daughter was born, Travis began to change. He grew cold, short-tempered, distant. After each military deployment, he came back different. He refused to talk about what he'd seen. But he'd wake up screaming, soaked in sweat, eyes wide with fear. Eventually, he was diagnosed with PTSD. But he never got help. He rejected therapy. He lost his job. He drifted off the grid, and the paranoia began to grow. They're only safe with me. The court is on her side. If I can't be their father, no one will be. Those weren't just his thoughts. Those were the lines he wrote in the notebook police found, and those lines became a death sentence for 3 innocent little girls. In the final months before everything fell apart, Whitney told investigators, Travis started calling late at night. Always the same questions, over and over. Do they still talk about me? Did they say they want to come back? Are you turning them against me? It wasn't the voice of a father anymore. It was the voice of a man unraveling. After the divorce, Travis became a ghost. He drifted, slept in his car, camped alone in remote national parks. He didn't stay anywhere for long, but he posted often. Online, his words got darker, sad, angry, paranoid. My family was taken from me. I used to be a hero, now I'm nothing. They stole my kids, my life, my meaning. No one reported it, no one flagged the posts. There were no threats, no weapons, just pain. But pain, when left unchecked, can become something else, and that's exactly what it did. Travis turned heartbreak into control, grief into rage, fatherhood into execution. He saw himself losing custody, losing his place in their lives, losing his identity as their dad, so he made a decision, his final one. If I can't be their father, I'll be the one who ends their story. This wasn't a sudden breakdown, it wasn't a moment of madness. It was planned, cold, deliberate, and the motive wasn't money, it wasn't revenge, it wasn't jealousy. It was something far more terrifying. Possession to Travis if he couldn't own them. Destroying them was the only thing that made sense. On June 6th, the Chelan County District Attorney officially filed charges. 3 counts of first-degree murder. 1 count of kidnappings. 1 count of custodial interference. But filing charges meant very little. Because Travis Decker, the man who killed his daughters, was still nowhere to be found, a nationwide arrest warrant was issued. Federal authorities activated a full manhunt, but there was one massive problem. No suspect. There was no courtroom, no trial, no defense attorney, no one standing in front of a jury. Travis Decker had vanished from the legal system, just like he vanished from the Rock Island woods. The day of the funeral, Wenatchee came to a standstill. Hundreds of people lined both sides of the street. The whole town silent. 3 tiny white caskets were carried down the aisle, side by side, on Paityn's one of her crayon drawings. On Evelyn's a pair of pink ballet shoes, and on Olivia's her favorite stuffed animal. The entire country erupted. Social media, news outlets, parent forums, veteran groups. Everyone was asking how does a man with obvious mental instability still get visitation rights? How does no one step in? Even after he posts terrifying, disturbing things online. Is the justice system protecting the rights of a father? Or handing power to a killer? A movement began, a fundraiser was launched. Justice for the Decker sisters. At first, it was to support Whitney, to help her survive the unimaginable, but it quickly became something bigger, a call for change. Activists demanded new laws, mandatory mental health screenings for parents with PTSD, or any record of erratic or threatening behavior before being granted custody. The public split into 2 loud, passionate sides. Some said Travis was a monster. Cold, calculated, beyond redemption, he should be hunted like a domestic terrorist. But others, a smaller, quieter group, believed this was a mental health tragedy. That Travis was a broken soldier, abandoned by the same system he once served. That this wasn't just a murder. It was the final act of a man who was already lost. But no matter where you stand, one truth remains. 3 little girls are dead, and the man who did it still hasn't been found, no matter what excuse we tell ourselves. 3 little girls are still dead, and Travis, whether alive or not, is now a ghost. A ghost that haunts the legal system, the media, and the hearts of millions across America. It's been over a month since Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia were buried. Side by side, 3 small graves. Every single day Whitney visits. She brings 3 bouquets, never misses, but Travis Decker still missing. No body, no goodbye note, no footage of him leaving the forest. It's like he dissolved into the night. So, did he kill himself? Or is he still out there, watching from somewhere none of us would expect? If Travis is still alive, what's stopping him from doing this again if he's dead? Why can't we find proof? This story doesn't end with justice. It doesn't end with an apology, it ends in emptiness. Emptiness in the hands of the law. When the killer never stood trial, emptiness in the heart of a mother who lost everything in a single weekend. And emptiness in the soul of a town, left wondering, what did we miss? Were the warning signs loud enough? Did we protect our children? Or did we put too much faith in a title that no longer meant anything? Father. Night falls over the forests of Washington, where the wind howls through the trees, where the bloodstains on the truck have long dried, where 3 children rest beneath the cold earth. And maybe, somewhere out there in the dark, a man is still breathing, and he's never felt